Hello and welcome back to the Doctor Who discussion where me and my annoying siblings put our only talent to good use, talking about Doctor Who, but this time doing it in a way that will not annoy our parents, who are always complaining about how often we spend just speaking about Doctor Who. So we thought we'd do a video. This one we're going to do the best and worst of. Quite a simple premise. I'm just going to say something like a logo, title sequence, and you just got to say which one's the best, which one's the worst, and maybe have a bit of an argument about it. I will be bringing Classic Who into some of them, and they won't because they haven't seen it. I'm Joel. Girl one's Neve, squeaky one's Finn. It's pretty easy to keep an eye on. So right, what are we going to start with? What did I start with? Logo. What's the best logo? My favourite logo is Peter Capaldi's 2014 to 2017 one. It's literally just the words Doctor Who on the screen. But I don't know, it's something about the font. It looks gorgeous. Particularly in the title sequence at the end, you know, with all this planets spinning around it.
Yeah.
Really love it. It's very basic, but it's great.
My favourite logo is the Matt Smith one because I love how the DW then turns into the TARDIS. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Every time that happens,
that's what I've got as well. Yeah.
Okay, my worst, I feel like it's a controversial opinion. The RTD era logo is not one I'm a fan of.
I agree with that as well, but it's really controversial.
Not a fan. I know for a lot of people, it's probably a much loved one. I love Jodie Whittaker's
I love
thing.
Whittaker's.
Um,
Joel's got it on a t-shirt.
I do have it on a
She
t-shirt.
likes it.
It's not this t-shirt. I was going to wear it, but it's not this t-shirt.
I actually think it looks quite good. It's actually one of the good things about the Whittaker era.
The only good thing.
The only good thing about the whole... Well, you've just said it's the worst. Obviously, they were going for the whole rustic aesthetic for the RTD era, so everything's sort of rusty. The TARDIS is, the Sonic is, he's quite raggedy, but I don't like the...
It fits with Eccleston, but it just doesn't really fit with Tennant.
It just looks weird. It just looks rubbish. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, I
It just kind
agree.
of comes across and just flips, and it's just what I don't even know.
I'm not a fan.
no,
But it doesn't actually... Something as simple as a logo doesn't affect my enjoyment. So when I'm watching certain eras of the show, if there's a really bad TARDIS, it's like, it actually makes me go, yikes. But if it's a logo, it just totally brushes past me. It's only when...
it's there for like 3 seconds.
And it's only when you're actually it's only when you're looking for it that it actually
Yeah.
you can sort of order. Same with title sequences. To be honest, a bad title sequence isn't overly a problem, but of course you do want great ones. My favourite one is the ones from the Tennant specials, 2009, 2010, which is basically the same as the early RTD era one, just faster with the orchestra going.
I've got.
Because the TARDIS goes along, I find that really cool. Right? It does that bit where it goes turns the corner on the bit of the music.
Yeah. Of course, the best title sequence is the one that the guy on YouTube did from Utopia with Jack hanging on the side of the TARDIS.
Oh, they
Doctor!
It was a missed opportunity.
I've got the specialist one down as well.
No, I have the Matt Smith one. I still love the
Series 5 to 6 or Series 7?
I don't know which one, but I really like it going to the Time Vortex. It looks better than...
I just don't really think it looks very Vortex.
I really like the music, but yeah, the Time Vortex itself is not as good as the RTD era Time Vortex, I don't think.
Speaking of Time Vortexes, shall we go into the worst?
The Blue Smoke. Oh, title sequence, I'll get mine out of the way first. Colin Baker's second one from Trial of a Time Lord. It's very synthy, and it's almost got like a beat drop going through it, and yeah, I'm not a fan of that one. But if it was just for the new series, I would actually pick Matt Smith's second title sequence. There was just way too much stuff going on in that. And I don't think it's the best musical arrangement either. But I got a feeling that you two are both going to pick the same thing.
Well, I picked Whittaker.
Yeah.
It literally looks like a Child's Gone Insane on Video Star. It's all going like... It was all like squiggly. The music is what even have they done to the music?
I love the first half of the music.
Vortex.
I love the first half of the music.
I mean, Whittaker's
it's-
have a Time Vortex. They've put glitter on the walls.
Oh, the Time
of
Vortex
studio.
is... I'm really glad they haven't used that Time Vortex in the opening
And
thing.
they don't even play the whole of the song. They stop it halfway through and they do a weird like suction noise.
Yeah, I like the beginning, which is very
weird.
classic with the ding 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 ding, and then it goes, and then it just goes. I've not a clue what's going on. They'd have like a
They
beat
try
drop
to,
halfway through.
like, do 2020 music because 2020 music's not even good. So don't.
Companion. So hang on. I've got a few here because I'm going to bring some classics and new into. I love the second iteration of Romana, played by Lalla Ward, and Jill Grant. Also, the chemistry with their doctors are amazing. For New Who, for me, it's Amy and Rory as a duo. They have to be as a duo.
Yeah, I've got Amy.
You go with
and
Rory,
too.
yeah. Their character arcs together. Rory grows so much as a character. You know, they're
And-
funny. They've got that great extended family thing going on.
And Amy as well, because at the start she runs away on her wedding night to be with the doctor. But at the end she chooses Rory over the doctor. It's
Like,
quite a big.
no hesitation, just.
Yeah.
And they really push their dynamic over the course of the show as well. Because episodes like Girl Who Waited and Good Man Goes to War, but they actually really, really push those characters. Also, when I talk about the Jodie Whittaker era not having enough stakes for companions, I think of Amy and Rory. Because there's a run of episodes in Series 6 where they have ridiculous stakes. Like, they lose a child in A Good Man Goes to War, they nearly get killed by those creepy things in Let's Kill Hitler. In Night Terrors, Amy gets turned into a peg doll. In The Girl Who Waited, she gets aged up and has to wait for 30 years.
They
And then in The
basically
God
just keep
Complex,
dying.
they nearly get killed as well. Well, Rory does keep dying.
Yes, that is a common thing. with
You
Rory.
think he'll just come back to life? When don't I? Yeah, so pretty much agreement on that. For worst, Dodo Chaplet for bringing in the classics, but as we're sticking almost to the new series, Ryan Sinclair is the dullest, most boring companion ever.
Yep.
After Series 11, I would have said Yaz, but I actually felt that Yaz was decent in Series 12. It's like Chibnall only knows how to write 2 companions max.
But
So
that is the
Gray's
Ryan,
been pretty consistent.
You really.
Yeah.
Graham is the
shouldn't
relatable
have
companion. He brings the sandwich.
that many companions, I don't think. It's
no,
just too much.
not. You shouldn't
Especially
introduce
for-
them all at once as well.
No.
Yeah, especially like.
If you can't write them all, then you should have them all.
Because it felt like he could write Ryan and Graham in Series 11, and then because he tried to write Yaz in Series 12, they just totally forgot Ryan was there. And you think about episodes like Can You Hear Me? Yaz has this really cool dream sequence, Graham has this really cool dream sequence, and Ryan's is just pointless.
Other than him climbing a ladder, you don't see him like overcoming any with Spraxia or having any problems with it.
No.
Like it doesn't do
The
anything.
basketball, man. He just chucks it in Spyfall, and then they bring it back in The Timeless Child. It's like, anyone see that character development we've just done? It's like, no, because you've just done one thing there and not had any development, just had him jump straight to the conclusion.
Yeah.
It's not like they had him chucking basketballs the whole way through the series. Not that would have been very good, but you know what I mean.
It would have been good development.
Hey, the doc might be a pacifist, but look, I can chuck a bomb. Sonic Screwdriver. I've got a feeling unanimous votes
Matt
are coming.
Smith.
Matt Smith's is my favourite.
Matt Smith.
No.
No? Hang on.
No?
Well, wait a second. Matt Smith's the original one for me, so I've got a lot of nostalgia for it. I love the green, and I just love the bit that goes up, whatever that bit's called.
Kenneth doesn't like that bit.
Compensating? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He uses it to insult his own future size.
Yes, he does.
Um,
He's a doctor. It's what he does.
Particularly if it's a Moffat script.
It just insults himself on a daily basis.
So you've not gone for Matt Smith's?
No, I went for Capaldi.
Okay, I do like
Well, it's not
Capaldi's
even
one.
just Capaldi. I also love the sunglasses. I love how you.
Yes,
design.
I do love the sunglasses.
So,
Yeah.
It's a-
although he did make his next Sonic Screwdriver one that didn't roll, which Clara did tell him to do in Deep Red.
Yeah.
She's like, make one that doesn't roll next time. He did. But I love the sunglasses as a substitute for the screwdriver.
Honestly, when we get round to doing a Doctor Who Unpopular Opinions video, I'm 100% going to rant about how much I love the sunglasses. Because a lot of people hate the sunglasses, but I really,
Yeah.
really enjoy them.
Like every doctor needs something new going for them. Jodie Whittaker doesn't have any of that, and that's what makes her not one of the best doctors.
Well, because she
Whereas-
doesn't have Sonic sunglasses.
No, just because she doesn't have anything original, whereas all the other doctors have something distinguishable. The only thing distinguishable about her is that fact that she's a woman, and that shouldn't be the distinguishable part.
Yeah, because they don't want to draw a big deal to that. You know, Matt Smith's got the bow tie, Tom Becker's got the scarf, John Pertwee has a car, Sylvester McCoy's got an umbrella, your
Kenneth's got the shoes.
second Doctor's got a flute. You know, they've all got distinguishable things. You can't just be the woman Doctor.
And
Yeah,
celery.
especially because
Celery, yeah.
there'll be more female doctors in the future. Then.
Fair play
Yeah,
though.
well-
Not many men can pull off a decorative vegetable. TARDIS interiors.
We haven't said about our least favourite.
Oh, least favourite. Sorry, I just took that for granted. Least favourite Sonic.
Is Whittaker.
Jodie Whittaker's weird, phallic imagery thing.
The
Alright.
thing I like about that
Right,
song
right.
is the fact that she made it herself.
Yeah.
But I really wanted her to get rid of it at the end of the first episode because it looked rubbish.
Okay.
I was like, you made it, but
We've got this new doctor. What can we do? All the other doctors have had flashing lights. This one, let's put a crystal in a screwdriver.
Weird yellow crystals that they had all through series. Like it's in the
in a really
TARDIS as
strange
well.
shape. It's kind of
And they
weird.
never even said.
It's
what
definitely a strange shape,
Yeah,
and a lot of
what's
people were
about?
quick to comment on that.
It's a bit
It's a bit of a dodgy shape.
dodgy.
And no one, they never even explained what it's about.
Yeah, why? It's more like a sonic, and
TARDIS
it gets
always takes a
overused.
screwdriver.
It gets people said that about Matt Smith's screwdriver, but I don't think so. I actually think as far as screwdrivers go, Peter Capaldi used his the perfect amount, but Jodie Whittaker overuses it like mad.
Apart from one time,
Yeah,
he
sure.
scanned someone and said they were dead.
Yeah,
We did do that once. I was like,
no,
you
Whittaker
can see
uses
that.
it so much. It's like, what species are they? Are they? Oh,
Yeah,
they're this species.
yeah,
So they're lying around the dead on the ground, no heartbeat.
yeah. Like Eccleston could have just done
Death
that.
by Scotland.
You know the scene in
Love Nordal. I love Nordal.
Aliens of London World War III when the Doctor has to figure out the Slytherin species just by all the different bits of
Yeah.
information they can give them. And then there's just a bit in Fugitive of the Dune where she's just scanning and going, human. Like, well, why couldn't Eccleston just have opened the door and gone, oh, they're from Raxacargo Fallopatorius. Jackie, get the vinegar. Yeah, that's annoying. It's annoying how much it's overused.
Continuity is obviously not.
Continuity.
Continuing.
Continuity.
I can't say the word. It doesn't really
Continuity.
happen a lot. There's a lot of things in Doctor Who that aren't really good continuity.
Yes, it's definitely
Got
a
it.
recurring theme.
But that is definitely. I
Okay,
think it's
we'll go to TARDIS interior now. Peter Capaldi's TARDIS, particularly with particular detail to Series 10, they slightly changed the colour scheme up a bit. It looks
Yeah.
even better. Or it looks
I really
gorgeous.
I love the companions' names along the top in
Yeah.
Gallifrey. I think
There's
it's
nothing I'd
fantastic.
change about that TARDIS. I think it's
No,
absolutely
it's really
beautiful.
I knew you were both gonna put that. I mean, like, it's nice, like the bookshelves and the chalk.
Yeah, I like that as well. And the seat, it looks lived in. Very
Yeah.
TV movie-esque. It looks very lived in.
Yeah.
But I had to put down Smith's. It is Smith's
It is,
first.
it is
obviously.
gorgeous.
It is so nice. It's just it's dropped all that grungy kind of like mesh floors and big stone pillars,
Yeah.
and it's got the big glass floor.
I
and
do
the-
I do love it. It's very clean, and
Yeah.
the thing that I love most about that TARDIS is I don't think there was a better
I thought it'd
TARDIS
be
for
cleaner.
I don't think there's a better TARDIS for Vincent van Gogh to have gone into.
Yeah.
Because it's so colourful and quirky and strange. It's very whimsical and out there.
Like if Vincent Van Gogh had gone into Tennant's TARDIS, he would have literally had
Yeah.
the same.
It's just
He would
dusty.
have said the same thing as
Don't think,
Wilf. I thought it'd be cleaner.
There's another unpopular opinion. I don't actually really like the RTD.
Tennant's TARDIS
TARDIS
really
that nice.
reflects his personality.
It
It reflected Eccleston's, but
Yeah.
not Tennant's.
Yeah.
I think it was just the RTD era. They'd only had it for one series, so they probably didn't want to switch it up. But I think that they probably should have
I
done.
mean, they'd never actually switched up the TARDIS much before, so it was a big step switching from just like a white room to that. And
Yeah.
then obviously people liked it, but then they didn't want to change it again
Yeah.
in case they just overdid it.
Worst. Everyone's going to agree on this as well.
Whittaker's
Jodie Whittaker's TARDIS is awful.
big
Oh.
crystals.
Big crystals.
It's so bad. They're like,
And the
bubbles,
lighting. The lighting
literally.
is so bad.
and it's like there's nothing else there. It's like they're just in this little snow globe bit, and there's nothing else there. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's that much bigger on the inside because there doesn't seem to be that much space.
Like in the
It's
Doctor's
just kind
wife,
of flat space.
Amy and
It's like
Rory
there's
just
nothing there.
running through massive long corridors with just nothing in it, because it's literally a world. in
Yeah.
The
there.
TARDIS doesn't end.
It's TARDIS is infinite. But I remember my first reaction to it, because I don't like the things on the walls, but I really hate the doors, because
Yeah,
it's
it's
rather
like
than it
it's
being
in a
bigger on the
box.
inside, it feels more like going through a portal, because they have the doorway,
And
you
then
know,
they
as a
have the
box, and then you walk through
Yeah.
the box into another room. I really
Yeah.
don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I must say though, I did prefer it in Series 12 when the TARDIS, when it saw Gallifrey, it mourned and it went blue. Because I do like the TARDIS having some personality. I really like that in the Moffat era. You know, the TARDIS gives Capaldi his hologrammatic antlers, and the Doctor's wife and Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, they have stuff about the TARDIS actually as a living being. Through Series 11 that was just totally lost. But I do think they started to bring it back in Series 12, so I hope that going forward We have more of the TARDIS's personality.
The blue
You know, it
TARDIS
didn't
was-
it didn't like Clara.
Yeah.
To start with, it sort of just did weird things. There was a bit where it flashed lights, almost like laughing.
Yeah.
I think I might have been in the minisode with Clara and the TARDIS
Yeah,
at
and
the
there's like
night.
loads and loads of Claras.
Yeah, that's great.
The blue TARDIS is nicer than the orange bit when.
Yeah, it looks much better in blue than it
But
does in the orange.
But it still doesn't look good. Just too many crystals.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the crystals, which is a big problem because
And
the way
weird
they're
thing is
chucking it
there's
in
nothing
everywhere.
At the top, it's just this crystal that just moves up and down, but there's nothing.
But
There,
and
it
like
just
there's
looks
loads
strange.
of crystal pillars as well, which they just got rid of the pillars for
You
ages.
quite literally like
Like
thumbs
the
because they
grungy
bend.
colours.
Like
It's too dark around the
Yeah.
edges
you
as
can't
well.
even look at them. They're really pretty.
Yeah, it is literally just a console and a black space,
I feel like
and all that TARDIS
Yeah.
is.
they should have gone for a more classic looking. Like I remember when I'm not a fan of Fugitive of the Jadoon or the Timeless Children, but when they went into Joe Martin's TARDIS, I was like, it was just a sense of, oh man, this is so gorgeous. Why is the TARDIS we've got at the moment so bad? When you go into Joe Martin's TARDIS and there's all the round things on the walls, and it's that classic, just white plain design, but it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Annoyed that we've stuck with this. Doctor's theme. I had to think about this one because I love a good man. No, I love I Am the Doctor. And that was my first thought. Dun, 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 dun. I also thought about the Ninth Doctor's theme. But it has to be a good man, Peter Capaldi's theme. I absolutely love
I've
that.
got Peter Capaldi's theme.
Yeah, I was going to put that, and then I was like, actually, I think Smith's I recognise more. I think it's something you remember.
I just think that's because
More.
maybe it's just because they played it more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the
It-
thing about certain themes. If you don't remember them, then they're probably not as
Yeah.
good as the other ones that are really stuck in your head.
I don't think there's actually an out and out bad Doctor's theme.
No, there's not.
There's not. But I have put the 13th Doctor's theme because the other four themes are written by Murray Gold and this one's written by Segan Akinola. So there's no real choice there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be like that. I just put Whitaker's just because it's not I don't remember it. I was listening to them upstairs to figure it out which one I thought was best. I didn't even remember it. I didn't even think I'd heard it, and I watched them all in the space of like 10 days. But like a few months ago, and I don't remember it all.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
it's a problem that they don't lean as heavy into the motifs as
And
Murray Gold did.
it's like
in the new era.
Murray Gold made his music stand out a lot, and then it's just very quiet background music now.
Yeah, I do think that's a bit of a problem. Companion's theme. I thought about this a lot because I was going to go for Clara because that's the sort of classic. Ding, 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 ding. And I didn't realise I could pick Jack until Finn started listening through, and then
I
it was
didn't even know Jack had one.
here he comes on his ruddy great tractor.
Yeah, I put Jack down.
I don't know why you're laughing. You didn't even watch that.
No, I listened to it, but
he was listening to the actual theme.
Oh,
Um,
he doesn't even get.
I like Rivers. I love Rose's theme. I love Amy's. But I was like,
Although we have seen Children of Earth.
yeah.
Bill's theme's my favourite.
Gruesome because it's the best thing.
And I never thought about it because I can never actually remember it. But every time I go listen to it, it's like, that's gorgeous. And the last time I watched Series 10, which was a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, was the first time I was just like, that is beautiful. It's such an amazing theme. It's great. I would never think that. If you said to me what's the best companion theme, I wouldn't straight away think Bill's, but when I was actually looking through them all, I do think she's got the best theme.
But I put Clara because I really
But
I think it really
it's
matches
very-
Clara's like personality. Kind of, yeah, and also like you just recognise it. It comes on, you're like, right, Clara's coming.
Well, sure, there's that scene in the pilot when it's definitely the most recognisable of any of them because there's that scene in the pilot when the Doctor goes to wipe Bill's mind, and then she goes, imagine what this would feel like if someone did this to you, and then they play Clara's theme to hint that he can't remember her, and you recognise it straight away. Oh, he's thinking of Clara now because you hear that theme. Which, what have you gone for, Finn? You gone for Jack?
Yeah, I went for Jack.
I never knew that
It's
was
an
the theme.
absolutely
It's so
epic
cool.
theme. I think it's mainly
Is
used
it
in Torchwood,
Yeah.
but I think they do use it in Doctor Who once. So I think it probably does count.
Probably one of the episodes he comes back.
I think
in
it's
In
probably
the
in
beginning,
Series 3 finale.
Series 3, yeah.
Because they do use a bit of Torchwood music in the Series 3 finale.
I love Torchwood. I'm so depressed.
Okay then, right. One second. The worst one, I've just gone for Ryan or Yaz or Graham's theme because, as
Yeah.
you said, the whole point of a character's theme is it should be memorable. There's a guy who's done a series of videos called Richard Lloyd. It's a great channel. He's done a series of videos about those different companion
I
themes
didn't even realise
and how they
there
were
was one.
how they were hidden.
Neither.
But the problem is the fact that he has to do those videos insinuates that nobody has a clue what the themes for these companions are.
Yeah, because if you think of like Clara's theme, Donna's theme, like everyone's theme, you recognise it when you hear it. Whereas you just don't.
But there's no
I
point.
don't even know what their themes are because
There's no point in them. They apparently they do have themes. It's just quite difficult. Some people have noticed it, but I feel like there's no point in them actually having themes if no one can remember them. And that's the main problem with a lot of Sega Nakanola's music. It's just total background music
yeah,
without any. But it's not interesting background music.
background music you're not supposed to hear it all the time.
It feels like 2
But
hours of free music you would get on
It
YouTube.
should be able to be heard occasionally, at least, quite often.
So definitely not a fan of that. Totally off topic here. We haven't done this in the list and we haven't asked anyone to think about it. But you mentioned Torchwood there, made me think of it. Best and worst spin-off.
Torchwood.
Sarah Jane Adventures is my favourite. Because I love Torchwood Series 2 and I adore Children of Earth. But Series 1 is not
It has
great.
Some good episodes.
It's got Countryside.
It
That's
has
the one
Countryside.
great
I love
episode.
I mean,
Countryside.
I've only
That's
seen.
what That's
It's got
what
another
Jack is Tractor.
It's got Day One. It's got
Yeah, Day
Small
One's-
Worlds.
yeah.
It's got Cyberwoman. It's got End of Days. There's a lot of stuff in there. I'm just like, Nope.
I've only
Yeah,
seen
but-
Children of Earth and Sarah Jane.
I love the characters
oh
as
yeah,
well.
you can't really comment this.
Children of Earth was really good,
The
but
riff is brilliant.
Children of Earth,
it is.
the best television
Male
I've
They
ever watched.
sucks. No one ever watched that.
Well, I haven't got around to watching it yet, but I'm afraid of watching it
But,
because
um,
I've watched.
If you think that what the government were doing in Children of
Children
Earth
of-
is
Yeah.
bad, then just don't even think about watching Miracle Day because it's awful.
Um,
It's so bad.
I do think that's an interesting part of Children of Earth, but the problem is I've seen the 1996 Doctor Who TV movie, which is very Americanized, and I'm like, you've seen what they do to them. You can't put Torchwood into an American filter because it's gonna make it rubbish.
It was. I love Welsh accents, and there was none. That was so sad. Other than
Gwen and Reese.
Gwen and Reese, and there was a little bit of Andy. I think there was no
Yeah,
Welsh accents.
Andy's in episode 1 because I've seen episode 1.
And I was so disappointed. Everyone was American, and none of the characters were even good. I'm going off on a rant now, so I'm just
Okay, I think Sarah Jane Adventures, just for the consistency,
Yeah,
is the
well,
best.
You said I would be too young at like 12 to see.
Torchwood.
It was a
Well,
15.
it's,
I think wait till you're 13 or 14 and then you're
Yeah,
probably
because-
pushing it.
Day one is not something you ever want to see, Finn.
It's not something you ever
It
want to see
scars
anyway.
you for life.
It's more scarring than.
Yes, it's scarring.
Though I did watch a YouTuber that I watched, Failwell
You're not
34.
gonna cry over
I
it.
watched
but
his reaction to that episode. It was hilarious. I do love watching people reacting to it because it's just like, what am I watching? This is insane.
It's so
My,
like, oh.
my least favourite spin-off is Class, but that's only because they never got enough time to develop. It wasn't an amazing series, but Torchwood Series 1's not good, and Sarah Jane's Adventures Series 1's my least favourite Sarah Jane series. And it's a total disservice to say Sarah Jane Adventures is for kids, because some of the content in there is some of the best stuff the Doctor Who universe has to offer. The three Trickster stories, Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith.
Trickster is such a good villain.
Yeah. Death to the Doctor and The Curse of Clyde Langer. It's all it's
Yeah.
very mature as well. Like it deals with issues of homelessness and it deals with slavery and lots of different topics.
Yeah.
I love Sarah Jane Adventures.
And there's a lot of children almost dying technically, so when they're
Yeah.
all children,
Yeah, well.
and they almost always die.
At least they don't burn up anyone's grandson.
Don't. Fact you said that to me. It was awful.
Okay, Doctor's costume. My favourite is either John Pertwee's red cape and his smoking jacket, or Peter Capaldi's red velvet from Hell Sent.
I have Capaldi.
From Face the Raven through to Hellbent, he wears the red velvet jacket.
I picked Smith because he has no fashion sense whatsoever. What on earth he was thinking?
No Doctor has a fashion sense. It's
But
Yeah.
it's so iconic. The bow tie, the jacket, like in the beginning one.
I should have mentioned Tom
I
Becker's
think
costume as well.
I think it's brilliant.
Because
like you
that's
see that
textbook
costume
iconic.
and you know exactly who it belongs to. Like it's so. Whereas like, although yes, I love Capaldi's jacket. It's
The
a
red
really nice
velvet's
jacket.
beautiful.
But when you see it, you don't Other than you,
Well-
no one else thinks Capaldi.
Well, if I saw.
Well, what do you think of? What Capaldi costume do you think of when you think of Capaldi? Do you think of the magician's outfit from Series A?
Yeah, well, I kind of think of that. It's like blacky, kind of reddy, purpley, kind of.
Yeah, yes,
Thing
the
going
magician's
on.
outfit from Series A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's the one of the only doctors who's got like a lot of different ones. He's got the red velvet, and he's got the magician's one, and he's got the hoodie that he wears in Magician's Apprentice, which is familiar, and he's got the suit that he wears in Husbands of River Song and Mummy on the Orient Express. It's just lots of different stuff like that. He's got loads of different outfits.
Yeah, I have red
and
velvet
loads of
too.
different haircuts. And quite frankly, as a Doctor Who fan, I could even rank the haircuts. Give me that puffy Capaldi haircut.
Yeah, I love his hair. It's great.
Okay, least favourite Doctor's costume. I'm going for Colin Baker. You won't know that, but he wore a rainbow jacket and it looked awful. Jenny, that's the only bad Doctor's costume putting out there right now. But I've got a feeling I know what you're going to put.
I have Whittaker's.
Well, I put Whittaker. I'm not a big fan.
No.
I think anyone listening to this has got the gist that you're not a fan of Whittaker yet. We're
I'm
not.
not a big fan of her clothes. Just don't really think that they go very well. Obviously, the Doctor's clothes never go. Capaldi was actually quite good at dressing himself.
It was.
Yeah.
I
And to be honest, Eccleston did a pretty good job as well.
But the
He
entire-
looked
the entire
really
point-
dodgy without his jacket.
Yeah, I know.
On Father's Day, I was
Yeah,
like,
in Father's Day,
Yes,
it's
put it back on, cover yourself up. What the heck is happening? God, I shouldn't be seeing that. Yeah, I thought that Whittaker
The white,
just looked
the
like
white jacket
the,
and
the jacket. It's like grey, whitey.
It's
kind of
not
stuff.
doctory, if you know what I mean.
the.
Like all the new Doctors.
It looks like Jack's clothes, to be honest, but on a
But
woman.
white.
Jack doesn't wear white.
No, he's got the long flowy coat and the braces with the trousers.
Oh, I mean, fair enough, but it's a bit far off. I wasn't sure where you go with that. Okay, right.
Moving on.
I'm going off script a few times here because one I want to do is just to make you think about it on the spot. Best and worst companion exit.
Whoa.
I think the best companion exit is Amy and Rory's
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's the only definitive companion exit. They don't come back ever after they go.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
Like Martha's back in Poison Sky.
The
Donna
Donna
and
and
Martha's
End
back.
of
Well,
Donna's
Donna
back
comes
in
back in
End
End
of
of
Time.
Time.
Rose comes
Oh,
back.
yeah,
in-
yeah.
Russell T Davies gave all of his companions a send off, and then they came back in End of Time and gave them all a happier send off. Or
Yeah.
Stolen Earth Journey's End, where Rose's Doomsday send off is sort of undercut by the fact that, oh, here you go, here's a Doctor of your own, and here's a bit of TARDIS to grow.
Yeah, Amy and Rory, they never.
Amy and Rory's is the best one, I think, and it's the most emotive one. Even Clara's could have been the best, the Face the Raven one, but they shouldn't have brought it back in Hellbent.
Yeah,
If
but
they
then
if
she
they wanted
still
it to be
has to
great.
go back and die again.
I know,
because
but
the
it
paradox
doesn't
is too
feel
big.
it doesn't feel as
Yeah.
cruel
No.
without
Rose kept coming back. I was like, oh my days. Like, what on earth was happening? She just kept leaving and
She
then she's back
she
again.
had 3 exits, but not as many exits as Clara had, to be fair.
Yeah.
who had
'cause she
tons
just
of
kept
exits.
leaving and then was like, actually, I want to stay on the show.
Yeah, that actually
Why wouldn't you? It's a good show.
it is a good show, yeah. The worst companion exit is a more difficult question. But I'm going to go for Rose's
Rose.
exit from Stolen Earth Journey's End because they undercut what actually, even as
Yeah.
someone who's not a Rose fan, it was a good exit in Doomsday.
Yeah.
It was an emotional exit. But there was like
the hand
and
on
here's
the wall and
but they
everything.
had to come back and give her a specific happy ending.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a
a
melon.
copy of the Doctor. It's a bit just why?
Weird.
See, I didn't even think her original ending was that sad. You're going to get trapped in a parallel world with your mum, your dead dad, your new brother, and Mickey.
Yeah.
It could be worse. I mean,
It's not that bad. Those are
you've not been turned into a Cyberman for
crying.
crying out loud.
Everything else. Been sent into parallel world where, yeah.
Maybe they fly
Her dad's
Zeppelins,
rich as well.
but-
she's never
The thing
got
is, Stephen Moffat did go back on his sad endings for Clara. She got a sort of melancholic ending where she still has to die, but she does get to go and run around.
that. Until she has to go back.
And Bill gets turned into
Oh, it's
a water creature at the end of The Doctor Falls.
Cyberman.
No, at the end of The Doctor Falls, she
the-
comes out of the Cyberman and gets to
Yeah,
fly
that
across the
one.
universe. So she gets a mellow ending. It's not totally happy because all that awful thing still happened to her, but it's not fully sad. But I think that Rose, they just went full on, give her a happy ending in the end.
How's Ryan and Grim gonna exit? They're gonna leave.
Well, we're going to do a video on what we want to see from from Revolution of the Daleks,
No,
and
this
I've
is
got some very
good
specific
stuff.
things that I want to see from
I want to
their
see
ending.
Jack. I
Good
want to see.
companions. Jack. If Jack's not in it, then I'm gonna die.
Okay, right, we'll get on to
Much.
Eccleston, Tennant, Smith, Capaldi, Whittaker. Best and worst episodes, beginning with Eccleston. The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances is the
Empty
best
Child.
Eccleston script.
Yeah, I got that.
It's amazing. Creepy. It's quite like sad when you actually find out what it actually is. And then it's so fun, even though it's quite dark. It's
Yeah.
dark and scary and creepy, and it's also bombastic fun. They're playing Glenn Miller dancing on a spaceship that's parked next to Big Ben. If it's got Jack in it, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
This is probably the most fun Jack script, I think.
Well, this is whenever Jack was actually happy.
Jack's
Yeah.
so much better in Doctor Who than he is in Torchwood. Because
really-
he's so mellow, he's so...
Yes, but he's better in series 2 and series 3 of Torchwood.
Series 2
Because-
Series 3.
Because in series 1, he's been waiting
He's
for
way
over
too
100
moody.
years
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the Doctor, and he's, well, really questionable.
What about
at that
Torchwood,
time.
not Doctor Who?
And he has, yeah, I feel really sorry for him. The Doctor just ran off and left him. I can honestly hit him.
And he
The
does.
Doctor.
Because
not
because
Jack.
he's prejudiced.
Well,
That's
yeah,
why he let it off.
He was like, oh, you look weird to look at, so I'm going to leave you. Like, that's literally what he did.
Okay, well, we're all agreeing then. The worst is The Long Game,
Yeah.
for me.
Well, I put Aliens in London.
What?
I don't
Do you know
like
what?
the
Thing is, Aliens in London World War 3, it's got Slovene, and I hate the Slovene, and I could do an entire video on why I hate the Slovene, and I probably will one day. But they blow up Downing Street. It's the 5th of
Yeah.
November right now. We're celebrating someone who failed to blow up Downing Street. I'm not. I'd only celebrate if they succeeded. Mickey Smith got a missile and threw it at Downing Street, and you saw
Yeah.
the door blow off.
But I don't really remember what happened in Long Game. 'Cause I've only seen
That's the
episode
point. That's why it's bad. It's boring.
Maybe
Simon
it's
Pegg's in
London.
it. Simon Pegg's great, but it's
Alright,
just not
so
great.
there's a
I just
mouth.
don't really like
So there's a
the
mouth in the ceiling.
Yeah.
It tries to beat
Platform 1.
people.
They're at platform 1.
Oh yeah.
There's a
that
really
is-
annoying.
Is that the one
really
where Adam
annoying
is that weird
guy
thing?
Adam.
Called
Thing is,
Adam.
what I didn't realise is
From
when we were
Nightmare.
doing about companions, I actually have Adam as like a
Oh,
companion because I was like, I don't really know if he's a companion or not.
oh, I could have put
But
Adam as the worst companion,
he
but
was the worst companion. He's worse than Graham.
Yeah,
Not
but-
Graham. He's worse than
Yeah, but
Ryan and Jan.
the thing is, Ryan is a bad
That's
companion on purpose. So I'm not sure if that really counts. It's not controversial. Everyone hates
And
Adam because you're
Adam's
supposed
only
to.
there for like 2 episodes, so he's
Yeah.
not really a companion.
Tennant episode. My favourite is the girl in the fireplace, but everyone
I
knew
put
that.
as well.
Seriously?
But you didn't put it for your favourite episode 4 when we did the best possible series.
No, but I put it for my favourite Tennant episode.
That's so blimey.
Because what I picked for my favourite episode 4.
Time of Angels.
Time
But you
of
say Time of
Angels.
Angels is better than
But I
anything in the
put
whole Tennant.
No, but
era?
I picked Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone as one.
But you say that's better than anything in the whole Tennant era.
Well, in episode 4.
No, but if you're saying Girl in the
I said
Fireplace
that
is the
in
best
the-
Tennant episode, and
Yeah.
you're also saying Time of Angels is better than it, you're saying that Time of Angels is better than anything in the whole Tennant era.
Yeah.
Let's not get into like
So,
that. That's
yeah.
too much for my brain to handle.
Girl in the Fireplace, gorgeous, beautiful, poetic, quotable. The Doctor shines so much in series 2 when he's away from Rose. School Reunion, Impossible Planet Satan Pit because he goes off with Ida, and Girl in the Fireplace when he's with Sophia Miles. They were going out at the time, and their chemistry is amazing as a result.
I've got Sounds in the Library for Art of the Dead.
Yeah, I thought you might. It's an amazing script.
Yeah,
Vashta
it is.
Narada, Moffat,
Creepy.
creepiness.
Moffat, harder to understand than all the other RTD stuff. Kills people. I know that sounds really bad.
It doesn't actually kill anyone.
But,
They all get saved, they don't die.
well, they do die. And
Well,
then
yeah,
they get
sort of.
saved for computer.
Yeah, it's better than death.
Well, ahead. They get saved.
Okay, the best Smith episode, right? This one oh the worst. Hang on, worst Tennant episode. I forgot. Are we all going to agree? Fear Her.
I didn't prefer her.
You didn't put Finn. What's the worst Tennant episode? Fear Her is a shambles. I've talked about it in the worst possible series one.
I put Idiot's Lantern.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
Actually,
put any of that either.
I forgot Fear Her.
Would you put Fear Her?
Yeah, I would have put Fear Her.
I put Love and Monsters.
Oh, that's harsh.
See, I don't think Love and Monsters is
Awful.
it is bad. You know, I used to think
Awful.
Love and Monsters was underrated, and then my last few times watching it, I've slowly started to think, actually, no, it's just
Like, what
guff.
the heck? This guy just absorbs people. It's the weirdest thing ever.
but
Not the Doctor Who's not
It's a
weird,
cool script, but it's got a bad villain. Like the
No,
script.
actually, looking back, I don't think it's. and
Also,
having-
I don't like what the Doctor did to Ursula. He confined her to a concrete slab. I know he brought her back, but
the
like,
joke at the end of that.
and now
I'm not having that.
No,
Children's show,
Yeah.
guys.
it is a children's show. We didn't use that piece of information, and Finn still doesn't know it. So
Yeah, well, when you rewatch Love and Monsters in a few years, you might understand a joke that you didn't quite get the first time around.
there's quite a few of those in Doctor Who, but it's just I just don't like what he did. Like, and obviously his girlfriend just got sucked into concrete, and then Rose comes out. I was like,
No one upsets my mum.
You upset my mum. Oh, what the heck?
The thing is, I've just watched The Musketeers the other week. Series 2, Musketeers, has Mark Warren playing the villain. And now, every time I watch Love and Monsters, I just think, that is such a waste of acting talent. That one of Britain's best actors played Elton. Who's like
Yeah.
a weird little camp, ineffectual character.
Who, like,
There's also some other great actors in there that just got totally wasted.
Yeah.
Which is a real shame. Smith episode. I've put 2 because I've put The Day of the Doctor, but I'm not sure if that feels like a criticism of Matt Smith
But I
because
thought that was since that was a special.
that's a special. It has a few different Doctors in it. So if I can't say The Day of the Doctor, The 11th Hour.
Oh, I have Day of the Doctor down as well.
I have the Pandorica opens.
And The Big Bang, presumably as a 2-part.
Yeah, I
fair
have Day of
enough.
the Doctor
Fair enough.
because I'm just gonna count it is
It is
a
a Smith's era.
episode.
It's a Smith episode.
Wait,
Yeah.
then what did you put?
The Day of the Doctor.
It's
It's a Smith episode. But if it
it
wasn't
is a
that,
Smith.
then it would be Pandora opens Big Bang.
And I'm expecting pretty much unanimous Nightmare on Silver.
Yeah.
Thing is, I was looking through them. I was like, oh, I can't remember. I saw Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, whatever it was,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, that was rubbish. I'll put that. And then I saw Nightmare and Silver. I was like, gotta put it black. Come on.
It's not good.
It wasn't gonna be anything else. And I don't think the next one's gonna be anything else either.
I think the next one we're all going to... Capaldi
Kill the Moon.
episode? Oh, Kill the Moon is the worst one. Kill the
Kill the
Moon...
Moon's
I
the
thought you were
worst.
saying Kill the Moon is the best one. Then I had a heart attack. Kill the Moon is the worst. We're all agreeing on that?
Yeah.
And then we'll go off onto the best. Heaven Sent.
100%.
Dark Water, Death in Heaven.
Well, this is the same as yesterday.
Okay, we've had this debate before. Heaven Sent's the most perfect episode of the show. Best episode of the show
Maybe
going.
I'll
Ever.
understand it better when I'm older. The sort of
Heaven Sent.
Yeah, I don't really
Yeah.
think it would be your kind of thing.
Like
the
the
whole
emotional
Capaldi era,
thing.
I don't really think
the
it would
kind
be
of
your
emotional
thing.
But then he is...
Because he's younger. Like, I didn't like Capaldi's era when I was younger. That's when I stopped watching it. Because I didn't understand it. It was too complicated. Whereas now I like it. It's still really complicated.
I
but-
can understand it. It's just I probably just don't get it
I
as
think
well as you do. Like you get Vincent and the Doctor a lot better than I do.
The RTD era is very fun. I think that's why it appeals well to children as well.
Yeah.
But the Capaldi era is a bit more mature. I think you have to be a bit older to actually appreciate it fully.
Yeah.
RTD era is very fun. Every time I watch them, I'm just like, I'm having a blast watching this. Like, they just run around corridors for like 4 series.
Yeah, like I can see why people really like it.
Yeah.
Whereas I do enjoy Capaldi's era probably just more because it's more
Because I think it's got better
more in
scripts.
depth, better scripts, better villains.
Whittaker episodes. The best, I did toss up between
I
Resolution
feel-
Haunting, but Demons of the Punjab is for me.
Yeah, I've
Demons
seen
of the
Punjab.
Because Haunting of Deodat is very good, but it plays into the finale. So
Yeah.
the stuff from the finale didn't actually get paid off well in the finale, even though it was very good. I enjoyed Resolution, but some of the video game effects, and I'm not over the fact that they destroyed a Dalek with a microwave.
Yeah.
It's like, seriously, they can do that?
Daleks don't get destroyed by literally anything.
Imagine doing that in Dalek. You know, it's like
Yeah.
tell the technicians to get guns. Actually, no, don't bother doing that. Tell them to dismantle the kitchenware. It's all good. We've got this sorted. Yeah, that was a stupid ending for that. They should have just. Presumably, Whittaker has a Dalek gun knocking about the TARDIS
Yeah.
because
What?
Capaldi had one at the end of The Witch's Familiar when he
Even-
shot. He
even
shot
Rose
all.
had one whenever they were getting
No,
invaded.
I mean Capaldi's actually
Yeah,
got
with
a gun off a Dalek because he uses it in The
Oh,
Witch's
right.
Familiar and shoots all the
the
different
whisk
hands.
thing.
The whisk guns, yeah.
Yeah.
So she could rock that out and just kill her. I would be totally fine with that.
Yeah, but she's like
Yeah, so I feel like if she did that, we'd be sitting here complaining, going, the ending was rubbish.
Well, yeah, but
God, too quick.
Chibnall is so anti-gun in this kind of thing. he's gone back to the RTD thing of making it for children.
Yeah, well, the no guns thing, but the no guns thing in the Tennant era paid off because in the end of time, he
Yeah.
picks up a gun. There's also a few other moments where Tennant sort of threatens to pick up a gun.
Like
In The Doctor's Daughter, when he holds the gun to the guy's head, but you kind of know he's not going to do anything. But he does pick up a gun in the end of
holding it
time.
to his head.
I
Imagine they just like played that on like TV.
Torchwood the dirt.
I kind
Yeah,
of
they do it.
Blood and brains over the screen.
I
They did
kind
cannonballs though,
of
literally been strung up in plastic.
I kind of hoped that even though it's like the Doctor and stuff, he would just give him like a light tap over the head at the end of the gun, just like a
Yeah.
I never would.
Bang. I will smack you though. Christmas special. My favourite Christmas special is A
Christmas
Christmas
Carol.
Carol.
Well, the worst
Is
one.
The Runaway Bride.
Isn't
No,
on
no,
my
no,
bride.
for
Oh, have we not done the
Series
we've not done the worst
We all know
Waker
what the worst
episode.
one is, was
The
just
Timeless
talk about
Children,
the
but we're not
Timeless
actually going to
Children.
talk about it because we did
Yeah.
it, and I don't want to be angry right now.
No, yeah.
I'm in a good mood.
I'm not. Never in a good mood.
Well, we know that. Christmas special, Christmas Carol.
Christmas is about Christmas wrong by Dave, and you
You
tell.
spelled Christmas wrong.
Yeah. I spelled it about a T.
Christmas.
Yeah,
literally.
We
The
have
massive Chris.
We're having an Eccleston watch through.
Oh my days. I put Christmas Carol.
Christmas
I am
Carol.
Christmas
It's
Carol.
beautiful. We will do a video. We're going to watch them all before Christmas, and then we'll do a ranking. But we're not going to let tell each other who the different rankings are. I'd be interested to see what you think because
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of the RTD era Christmas specials.
like you said, you were gonna like say watch series 1 or something, and we'll
Yeah.
give us a few weeks. We'll watch through series 1.
No, but before Christmas, I want to watch all the Christmas specials because I watch Doctor Who all year round. But sometimes when I'm in March watching, some of the weird Christmas specials, I'm like, I don't feel very festive right now.
Yeah.
It's like it's the power of Christmas. I'm like, it's flipping July. Clear off. The Runaway Bride's my least favourite.
I
I
put
put
the
Runaway
next
Bride.
Doctor.
I don't like the next Doctor either.
No.
It's
It's the Cyber King! Russell, you don't have to keep outdoing yourself. You don't have to keep bigging the stakes up. It's Christmas. Just let there be a nice Christmas story.
Cybermen 1. No.
Also, it's just a clickbait name, isn't it?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
everyone knew that Tennant was supposed to regenerate soon, and they were like, the next Doctor. Ooh. Or it could at least be some kind of Doctor.
I do love the idea of the Doctor meeting his future self in a multi-Doctor story before that Doctor begins on screen. Which is why I would really quite like, if we were going to retcon the Timeless Child, which I really hope we are going to,
Yep.
make Joe Martin the next Doctor, make Jodie Whittaker's Doctor end by getting dragged back to Gallifrey and having her mind wiped, and begin with Joe Martin going into that.
But I don't want her mind to be wiped.
No, but that's Joe Martin's had her mind wiped into when she went into
Yeah, but all
in
the
Future of
past
the Jadoon.
companions and everything.
Yeah, but then you can have
Oh, she has to get it back.
but then you can have a
yeah.
series about getting those memories back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
I think
Otherwise,
that-
I
I
was
think-
like, what the heck are you doing, Joel?
Trust me, I've been trying to think of possible ways out of the Timeless Child, and I'm backing on Omega at the moment, trying to lure the Doctor into another universe. That's what I'm hoping because
And you can literally have Joe Martin's Doctor meeting people and not know who they are.
exactly
Oh my days, so many opportunities.
What, like
Joe,
Joe
you're
Martin's
a
Doctor?
genius.
inevitably not be taken.
Wait,
No.
are you talking about like Joe Martin's Doctor being from a parallel universe?
No.
From a different universe?
That means she said she'd lived there for 20 odd years or whatever, yeah? You could actually have an episode with Joe Martin's Doctor living through all the stuff that goes on through the Russell T Davies era to the Matt Smith era onwards. You know, like in Turn Left when they had all the different stuff. You could have her there when the Daleks are attacking. You could have her there. You could
With
really...
the Cybermen.
You could fan service like mad over this.
Yeah.
But then,
You
yeah.
can make everyone excited going, oh, I remember that.
Do you remember the weird Christmas star they had in Runaway Bride? That's cool, yeah?
Yeah.
Auton attack!
Oh my days, the Titanic's was about to hit Buckingham Palace. You can have that. Like, just
Yeah.
everything.
Give me another total fan service moment.
Yeah.
Missiles going for Downing Street.
Yeah, you could do anything. Now, this is the regeneration quadruple question because I think regeneration has to be taken in 4 separate ones. So we're going to do regeneration effects, regeneration story, pre-regeneration scene, and post-regeneration scene. So, regeneration effects. My favourite one is actually none of these. None of the new series one. It's Tom Baker's from Logopolis, which is totally different. Doesn't have a big orange light bursting out of him. It has the Watcher go into him, and then he sort of just becomes Peter, sort of cocooning him, and then he becomes Peter Davison. It's great. I absolutely love that. Even if it's not a great story, it's a great way to go out.
Well, I put Tennant because obviously he like blows everything
Yeah,
up.
I put Tennant to Smith because it's all the blowing and stuff.
I do love the visuals from Tennant to Smith.
Yeah.
I've got to say, even if I'm not a fan of
And
some
you-
elements of that
And
regeneration.
look, it shows you the camera from above, and you can see the face slowly changing, like the skin like
Like when
flattening
John
out.
Hurt
and-
regenerates, you can start to
stuff.
see Eccleston there. Like, oh.
Yeah.
You see Eccleston's eyes.
Yeah.
I hope the ears are a bit less conspicuous this time. They're really not going to be.
The ears have special parts too.
The worst one is Patrick Troughton's from the War Games. It's just really weird, trippy. They went for, and I'm not a fan of it.
Is it not surely the one where the guy got sacked, so he just didn't come back for his regeneration? They just kind of
But I've tried.
faded him in on the floor.
I've tried deliberately not to. Colin Baker didn't come back for his regeneration scene, but
yeah, he says he regrets that.
yeah, I know. But if he'd been sacked unceremoniously,
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to come back to
Why
your
was
job
he sacked?
because he wasn't popular. They wanted to change the show because he wasn't a popular doctor.
But,
I think that's a bit rough. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
they would never do
I wouldn't
that
expect them
now.
to treat Jodie Whittaker like that.
well, they haven't done that these days, Finn. And I wouldn't expect them to, because that is not fair.
Even Jodie Whittaker as Doctor Who I've not really liked so far. I would not like them to just be like, right, we want to change the show, so we're just going to have her regenerate at the beginning of the next episode.
She would have been she could have been a very good doctor, but just Chibnall writing of her
Yeah.
has
You
not
need
been good.
You need surprise regeneration. She should regenerate in the middle
I
of
would
a series.
love her.
I
No,
think that would just be so cool.
even if it's the end of a series, I
but
wouldn't
everyone
mind.
expects that.
No, they don't expect
Surprise.
a regeneration at the end of a series if it's not been announced, because they announce every
Yeah.
regeneration, have the big Doctor reveal. Imagine if they just say, she just goes bang and turns into. There's a lot of different actors
Well,
I'd like to play the Doctor, but
Turns
into-
John
Martin,
Martin.
turns into Joe Martin or turns into
Colin Morgan,
Colin Morgan or Alfred Enoch,
Chris Marshall.
Katie McGrath, Miami McCoy. There's a lot of people who I'd
Chris
love to do.
Marshall.
Alfred
Chris
Enoch.
Marshall, Alfred Enoch. I just mentioned, yeah. It just that would be great. I would love them to do a surprise regeneration because your jaw would be on the floor if you weren't expecting that,
Yeah.
because they never do it surprise. So, yeah. Moving onwards, have you said what the worst regeneration effects are?
I put Eccleston. He didn't go long enough to have like proper, because they just kind of moved on.
See, I
Yeah,
thought
I
that,
think
I mean,
as
that if under that logic, you would have picked Smith because he didn't even regenerate at all. He just goes bang, he just turns straight into Capaldi.
Yeah, but he had that whole big thing before where he was
Yeah, I
had
suppose.
all the regeneration energy, so it's kind of his effect.
yeah, I have Matt Smith.
It's
'cause
massive.
He sneezes.
He sneezes and turns into Peter Capaldi.
Yeah.
Which,
That's
to be
his
fair,
thing.
is the best sneeze that anyone's ever had. I would love to sneeze and turn into Peter Capaldi. I would just stand outside my house and monologue all day about everything.
I love Peter Capaldi. He's great.
Regeneration story. So I've gone for, from classic Who, The Caves of Androzani, which is an amazing story, the Fifth Doctor's final story, or the Capaldi trilogy of World Enough in Time, Doctor Falls, and Twice Upon a Time. Because the three of them, they're all his regeneration story.
That's what I've got. I've got the Capaldi trilogy.
He begins regenerating at the big in World Enough in Time, and it goes all the way to Twice Upon a Time.
Well, I didn't think you meant the episode. I thought you just meant the story of regeneration. So I thought that Matt Smith was really good because he didn't think there was any more
Oh,
after
well,
that.
you-
But he kept going and he looked after this town for years, and then he ended up getting more lives and then regenerate.
Do you
I
want
thought
to
was
change
really
that because you didn't understand the question? Or you want to stick with that?
good. No, I like that, but in that
Okay,
aspect,
well-
otherwise
So
it would be
you're putting Time of
Capaldi.
the Doctor.
Talking
as
of
your
Time of the
top.
Doctor, my least favourite regeneration
My
story
least
is Time of the
favourite
Doctor.
Regeneration
Time of the
story is
Doctor.
Time of the Doctor.
Oh, actually, and Time of the Rani, which is Colin Baker into Sylvester McCoy as well. I've got to mention. I don't think Time of the Doctor was that bad.
It's not bad.
It's just
there isn't
there's
really
so
a
much
bad
going on
story.
because I think Stephen Moffat thought Matt Smith was going to stay on for another series, so he had loads of time to wrap up all the stuff in regards to the Silence arc. But then he realised he didn't actually have any time to do it, and it sort of all went to pot in the story a little bit. It feels like he's got everything tying up, but there's not enough time for the story to actually breathe.
Yeah. He also didn't really have very much time with Clara, which although his episodes with Clara weren't as good,
You would still have
he didn't
liked.
really have very much time to like build up like that companion.
I would have gone for End of Time, but End of Time Part 2 saves it. End of Time Part 1 is a shambles, so I really don't like End of Time Part 1.
Yeah, what is the Master eating so much chicken for? I never understood that.
Because he's so hungry.
He also managed to bleach his hair in his death. I
Yeah.
don't understand.
Because he says the line, now there's only the Master Race. Because he's got blonde hair and blue eyes.
Oh, that's actually never realised.
That's quite
Oh,
dark,
like
isn't
that's
it?
quite
Is that
dodgy.
where it came from?
Well, I don't. Well, you've got to think that the Master Race. You got to think that's what he's on about.
Hope it's not.
Pre-regeneration
It's
scene.
not.
My favourite one is Matt Smith's by a mile. I think it's gorgeous. It's the perfect mix between the sort of
I have
subtle
Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Eccleston and the well over the top Tennant's goodbye. His speech about lives, changing into different people.
His thing is always like, not always. He
The
says,
only-
I will
I'll
always remember
when the
the
doctor
doctor
is
is
me.
me.
And it's like,
The only slight nitpick is that the girl who they've got to play the young Amelia has a different shade of hair from Caitlin Blackwood, who must have
Yeah.
been too old to do it. They could have just given any child with darker orange hair
To run up a stairway.
to run up a stairway. You didn't need.
yeah.
But I love Karen Gillan coming back,
Yeah.
and I also love the knowledge that both Karen Gillan and Matt Smith were wearing matte wigs in that scene
Yeah.
because they'd both shaved their hair for roles, for either for Nebula or for whatever Matt Smith was doing. It's a really beautiful way to go out. I love the music as well. Everyone agreeing on that?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
And my least favourite pre-regeneration scene, I put Sylvester McCoy, or I feel this is controversial as well, David Tennant. It's too self-indulgent. I like seeing all the companions, but then he has like a really long walk back to the TARDIS, stumbling in through the snow, and when he gets into the TARDIS, it takes him actually ages to actually regenerate.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're milking the emotion for every bit. But I'm just sort of like, give me Smith already! And I don't want to go. It's a bit too on the nose for me. Because it's supposed to reflect how the fans feel. They don't want him to leave. And a lot of people think that
No.
that's like a heartbreaking line, but I don't.
Wasn't he only regenerate like as Tennant 3 years or something? Like he didn't have very long. Like
Well, it was on 2005 to 2010, technically.
no, as the as
Oh, yeah, he
Tennant's
wasn't Tennant for
Doctor,
very long.
He wasn't for very long, whereas
Matt
Capaldi
Smith
had
was-
years and Matt Smith had like well over 400 years.
He had over 1,000 years, I believe.
Well,
Yeah.
Capaldi had like 4.
0.4 billion.
Yeah.
But that kind of didn't really count. He doesn't really count that as an
No.
age.
He
Imagine
remembers
Capaldi
it.
was like, yeah, I'm like 5 billion years old.
So is everyone... What have you put for that?
I agree with you about Tennant.
Yeah. Same.
Okay. Post-regeneration scene, my favourite is Peter Capaldi. Kidneys!
Kidneys.
I've got
Yeah.
two kidneys! I don't have the colour!
Of your kidneys.
It's brilliant. I don't normally like the post-regeneration scenes that much. Well, they normally don't stand out. They're normally just like oh, look, there's going to be a new Doctor. But I actually was looking back and just saying, yes, he's here! He's here! Fun times begins!
Yeah, I got Smith to Capaldi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Post-regeneration scene from that is brilliant.
Yeah.
Everyone agreeing?
Yeah, because like Smith goes through all his body parts.
Yeah, I think I think his is too long.
Yeah.
And
But it is quite funny.
Well, I'm going to
And
say
then he
my
calls out the TARDIS.
my least favourite post-regeneration scene is Matt Smith's. I don't really have a problem with Jodie Whittaker's one. I know that I feel like that's probably the one that's going to get slated. And David Tennant's teeth is okay. But I think Matt Smith's one's a bit too long. They should end it quicker. He should have just woken up and realised that he was crashing and yelled Geronimo, and that would have been fine.
Jodie Whittaker's one's good as well. She falls out the TARDIS.
I love the cinematography in Jodie Whittaker's one, with Peter Capaldi's ring falls to the ground.
Yeah.
I think that's gorgeous. It's Rachel Talalay doing the directing.
I mean,
it's always going to be.
She must have really thin fingers. Because I can tell you, if I was wearing Peter Capaldi's finger, I'd probably get stuck on it. I have such a fat finger.
And just as a final one to go, best composer, Murray Gold. Any disagreements?
no.
Worst composer, Sega Nakanola. And
Yeah.
I've watched the classic series as well. I've heard some weird musical scores that I love. Dudley Simpson's music and stuff like that. I don't like Sega Nakanola's music.
It's just not out there enough. Like,
There we are.
can't hear it.
Ending on a negative note, as ever.
Let's end on a positive note.
The
Whittaker has one series left.
Is that a positive note?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
In
depends.
probably like 2023, we'll have a new Doctor.
It depends.
If she stays for 4
On,
series,
on
I
a
might,
positive
like,
note, I'm recording this on the 5th of November, and I believe on the 23rd of November we're going to get a trailer for Revolution of the Daleks. because they've just
Yes.
teased it the other day, saying to mark the date 23rd of November in your diary.
Yeah, but they did that before and they put a picture of a table on.
No, that was Comic-Con. They've actually said to mark the date in your diary. If we don't get a trailer, I am going to kick off at the BBC headquarters.
You'll probably
Yeah.
hear something on here, so...
Yeah. Anyway, moving on, and we will tackle an entirely different subject next time, possibly unpopular Harry Potter opinions. Thank you very much. Goodbye.